you want to make an IoT server on Raspberry Pi, how many steps you would generally need? Lot many, right? What if I say that you can install IoT server in few simple clicks? Hello everyone, welcome to IoT Frontier. My name is Harihar Nath. In today's video, we are going to see a method which makes your life easy by simplifying the installation of IoT server on your Raspberry Pi. For our tutorial purpose, we are going to install InfluxDB, Grafana, Mosquitto MQTT and Node-RED using IoT Stack tool. This tool internally is going to use Docker Compose method to manage the softwares. We are going to simulate a vibration sensor using a Python program and try to send MQTT messages to MQTT broker, and then the MQTT client will subscribe to the topic in which the vibration sensor data was available, and this Node-RED will then store the data in the InfluxDB database, and finally Grafana will be pulling that InfluxDB data to show the dashboard. So stay tuned until the end of this video to complete the project without a hiccup. So first, let's install IoT Stack and configure it. To do that, we need to SSH into Raspberry Pi. So I'll be using PuTTY. So here in the PuTTY, you can see login screen. So after doing the SSH of Raspberry Pi, I have logged in. Once you have logged in, you need to first update using apt-get update. And then use apt-get upgrade. So I have recently done, so I don't see any upgrade. Now, next thing is we need to install curl. So curl is already available in my system. Next thing is I need to copy this line. So this is the software that we are going to install using from this script. And I'll provide all these steps in the description. So once you click on this, it will try to download the necessary softwares from IoT Stack. So basically here you can see it is installing Docker, Docker Compose, Python, Git Essentials, Build Essentials, etc. Now you can see it has installed and even it has automatically rebooting. So now it might have restarted. So I'll try to restart the PuTTY session. Now the next step is we need to use cd IoT Stack. Now we are into IoT Stack. So let us check what are the different file systems that we have. So we need to use menu.sh. So I'll use /menu.sh. So now you will be seeing the build stack Docker commands and multiple options. The first step is to build the stack. Now we have this option. So here we need to select different containers that we want to build. So we need to use up and down arrows and space bar to select them. So I'll use Grafana. I have used space bar. InfluxDB2, Mosquitto, Node-RED. So Node-RED you have to use right side arrow, then you need to select whatever you have to install in it. Then press enter to go back. Now the issue might have gone. That's it. So now I can click on enter to the build. Next thing is Docker commands. So you can use start stack. So here you can see it is trying to pull InfluxDB, Grafana. Next, it is trying to install the Node-RED as well as Mosquitto. Now you can see that stack is started. You can just press enter and continue. So later on, if you want to stop any stack, so you can do from here. Now I'll go back and exit. Now what we have done is we have installed the Mosquitto, Node-RED, Influx and Grafana. So before that, we also need to work on this Python code to simulate the vibration sensor data. To do that, so first I'll try to create a folder. Now you can see the vibration sensor is available, and I'll get into that folder. Next thing is I need to make sure that I have Python 3 and Python 3 pip as well as virtual environment. So I already have them. That's why it hasn't done the installation now. Next thing is you need to generate virtual environment for this directory. Next thing is you need to create a virtual environment. So using this command, you can create a virtual environment in this folder. Once that is done, you need to activate it. So you need to use this command to activate that virtual environment. And to run our program, we need to install the PAHO MQTT library. So I'll use pip install using this command, and it has successfully installed. Next thing is I need to write a program. So I have a program written here. So here you can see the program. I am importing the PAHO MQTT client as MQTT and random and time. So I'm going to use a random method to simulate and generate the values for vibration sensor and time for providing the delay. And here I'm using localhost MQTT broker, that is Mosquitto, that we have installed using IoT stack, MQTT port 1883, and topic is factory mission and vibration. So here we are able to simulate the vibration, and these are for connecting and unpublish. What are the messages that has to be coming for MQTT? Here we are creating a client of MQTT. And then this is the main while loop where we are trying to simulate the vibration, and this value will be published to the MQTT topic, and we have a 2 seconds sleep to send the next data. So now I'll copy this. I'll go Raspberry Pi, and in this Raspberry Pi, I'll try to use nano command to create vibration sensor.py and then paste it here. Use Ctrl X and then Y, enter to save it. Once you have done this, we can test this by using Python 3 vibration sensor. So immediately you should be able to see the values being published. It is publishing 0.8, 0.534, 151. So these are the values every 2 seconds this is going to publish. So I'll keep this as it is. Next, what we can do is we can set up the MQTT client, that is Node-RED. So to run the Node-RED, you can use localhost or try to use the Raspberry Pi IP address. To do that, I can try to find what is the IP address of the Raspberry Pi. So I'll use ifconfig. So WLAN 0, and I'll paste this, and 1880. This is the port of Node-RED. Now we need to use MQTT. So already it is publishing, right? So we need to take MQTT in and use debug for testing purpose. And we also need to search if influx So we already have InfluxDB node palettes. If you don't have this, what you can do is go back to the palette and install Influx. So when you do that, so you'll be able to see this Node-RED contrib influx you need to install. Because I have already, it is shown as Influx. It is installed. So I can take Influx out. So first I need to configure MQTT. So I need to click on plus. I can use localhost because I am running everything on Raspberry Pi. I can use localhost and I can leave the protocol as it is. We need to subscribe to a single topic, and that topic would be what we have written in the code. That is, I can copy from here: factory, machine, and vibration. And the quality, I can keep quality of service as 1 and click on done. Next thing, I'll just remove this first and try to deploy this. So I was having problem with localhost, so I tried to use the IP address of the Raspberry Pi. Now, when I deployed, I am able to get the connection, and let's see in the debug. Now, once the Python program is already running, you can see the values coming in the debug window. Next thing, I can use InfluxDB out. So before using InfluxDB, I need to configure InfluxDB also. So I can find InfluxDB port. It is 8086. So I'll use 8086. So when I used 8086, it was not working because when I checked the Docker command, Docker PS, it was using internally 8087 and later it is exposing 8086. So I have to access it, I am using 8087. So now if I use 8087, it is giving this. Let me use admin. It's not working. So to find out the InfluxDB username and password, I have gone into IoT Stack site, and inside that, when I searched for username, it was me and password was my password. Now it has logged in. I'll save this. Next thing is I can set up some buckets. So I'll create a bucket called vibration data. Now let's go back to Node-RED. So click on this. So here I need to select 2.0. And I need to provide the token. So to provide the token, you can go to this and API tokens, generate an API token. This is for Node-RED and click on save. So I can use a notepad and I need to paste it. Because this I'll be using even for Grafana. So I'll paste it here. Click on add. Next, I need to check the organization that is already available. So my org is already created and bucket is also created. So I'll show that vibration data. So measurement is not created as of now. So I can just create measurement, that is vibration. So vibration underscore measurement and click on that. Wire this up and I'll clear all of them. I'll click on deploy. So now it is trying to show that it is not able to connect. What I can do is I'll try to edit this, use 8087 and click on deploy. Let's see now. So I don't see any error. Just because the Docker has given 8087 internally to use, that's why I'm using 8087. Now let's go back to our bucket, vibration data. Inside vibration value, we have this value. So now I'll click on submit. I'll view this as a table so I can see the values keep on coming. So every 2 seconds I should see they should be updating. So I can also see band, a graph similar to this. Now next thing we need to do is we need to go to Grafana. So let's check the Grafana port, that is 3000. So I'll use 192.168.29.94 3000. So I'll try to use admin and admin. It is working. So I need to provide a new password. So I'll use password and submit. So next thing is we need to click on data sources. So here we can search for InfluxDB and the query language we can use Flux. So you need to go provide the IP address http slash and the port is 8087. So username password of InfluxDB, that is me and my password. Organization is my org and the token I said, right, we need to copy. So I'll just copy and paste it here. Default bucket. This is also done and I'll click on save and test. Now if data source is working. So we have Grafana ready. Next thing that we can do is create a dashboard. So click on create dashboard, add visualization, and this is the source. We need to provide the query. So you can go back to InfluxDB, click on script editor. Because we have already selected, right, this vibration data, vibration measurement and value. So last 2 lines I'll leave and these 3 along with from I'll be copying and pasting it here. Now you should be able to see the values. So I'll just keep it last 30 minutes and click on save dashboard. I'll click on save again and we can see the dashboard. If you want to add other visualization, click on visualization, click on here. You can even use a gauge. In the min, you need to use 0, max as 1. And the threshold will be 0.8. And the same query will be provided here. Now you can see this, save. Now this is how you can see the value. Now I'll try to make this last 15 minutes. You can see like this. And last 5 minutes will be like this. That's all for today's video. Now, before closing this video, I'll show you how to stop the container. So first, you can go back and cd to IoT stack. There are two ways to stop it. So you can use /menu and Docker commands and stop stack. So this is one way. Another way would be you can directly use Docker command like Docker compose and down. Just because we have recently stopped it, this Docker compose down is not going to show you any value. But there is an option called Docker compose up. So instead of using menu, you can also use this to up all the containers. And Control C will do this. So this is another way of starting and stopping the IoT stack. I hope this video is informative and has guided you a simple way to run IoT server, simulate vibration sensor and monitor that on Grafana using Mint Stack. If yes, please type helpful in the comment section below. Your support means a lot to us and helps us keep creating more content like this. So please subscribe to the channel and like this video. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in another interesting video.